Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at Sfynx, the latest from publisher Impatience, who focuses mostly on solitaire-style games. Now, Sfynx here actually plays up to 4 players, but I would say it's one of those games in which it's really mostly a solitaire game, and you are divvying up the action across multiple players if you want to do that. I've played it with different player counts, but I definitely prefer it with 1 or with 2. Because it's, like I said, kind of a solo game, really. So I'm going to be showing you what the game looks like as a solo experience. I'll mention what the differences are for more than 1. And then we'll come on back and I'll tell you what I think of the game, if I think it's going to be a good fit for you. In this game, you have 12 turns, indicated by these tokens here, to solve these puzzles presented on the cards, and there are 9 in total. 3 face up right now, another 6 in that deck. We set these out randomly. Some of them are turned on, meaning they're flipped over and it's this lighter color. You see those in a cross. The rest of them are face down. Same thing on the other side, just basically turned off and not operable. You are going to have, on your turn, a few actions you can do. And you can play this with multiple players, but I'm showing you a 1-player setup in this case. But basically, if you had multiple players, the only thing you need to give them is their own 2 tiles that look exactly like these 2 here. Because I'm playing solitaire, I'll be taking every turn, but we would just go back and forth, cooperate to try to solve those. So on my turn, I have these 2 basic actions, and I can use one of these advanced actions, plus any cards I've gained, if I've gained any. I can use those as well to try to manipulate things, turn them back on, move them around in order to get those patterns made. And the patterns have to be from right to left, anywhere, or from top to bottom, again, anywhere, all right? So taking a look at the first one over there, we've got that flame symbol, it's right here. Then that butterfly, the butterfly is right there. And then we've got that little whale character, and he's way up here. So they are very much spread out. And you're trying to bring these things together, okay? The special movement and abilities over here are, I have my 2 built-in ones. These let me swap 2 tiles adjacent to each other. That's what this is at the bottom. So I could do that, right? Or the top one is simply turn something back on, because to score the card, it needs to be on. Otherwise, it will not work. These up here are actually 4 out of 6 randomly selected, and the other 2 you don't use. This one lets me make a diagonal exchange. This turns 2 of them back on. This is 2 times I can make a slide, a switch, but only side to side. And then this lets you move an entire column, meaning I could pick the column, push it down or up, and the one that falls off just comes to the other side. So those are the options I have available to me there. These 3 cards up here, they don't care what order I do them in, and as soon as I do one, in fact, if I complete this one, then this would slide over and we replace it from the pile. The 3 are always face up, and it is important that you know that this is the one at the front of the line. That's why you have to slide them over, because it's possible that the game will take some of them away from you and you need to maybe change what you've been working on. So I'm going to go ahead and take a turn then, show you what that looks like. I'm trying to, I don't know, I'll pick one of these things. This game is very thinky and methodical, so this is probably not a very interesting thing to watch me do, but I'll give it a shot. I'm going to try to bring some things together, all right? So I'm going to do this one here, and I'm going to slide this whole line upwards, like so. Putting the whale down here. Then I'm going to use, let me see, what do I need? I need fire, whale, and then the butterfly. They're kind of near each other down here, but it has to be right to left. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one to move the butterfly over, and I'm going to use this one to turn the butterfly on. And I've already done this, and that's face down. With that done, my entire turn is done. At any point, if I had completed a card, I would have scored that card. I take it, I set it aside, and I get one of these special abilities, and then we replace it. These are one-time, very powerful abilities. Once I'm done with that phase, then we go to the Sfynx phase, in which I reveal the topmost token here, and some bad things are going to happen. So I reveal that, and it says, in this case, I need to turn off a number of tiles equal to the sand timer. And the sand timer is right here. It says 1 right now. If it would have been in this chunk, it's 2, 3, and 4. So that's how many tiles I need to turn off, all right? So I'll pick that one, for example. It's not up there, and I turn that off. And that's it. This can now go away. And I do it again. I now get these 2 back, and I am using one of the leftover ones. Once I get down to this point, you'll see a symbol there that says, the 3 you've used of these, turn them all back up. So out of the 4, you'll use 3, then you get them all back. You'll use 3, and you get them all back, like so. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I, once again, would start working on, trying to get these things lined up. Once I get that lined up, if I get this over here, and then this pattern figured out, I have now completed that. I take it, I grab one of these, put it together with these other things, and I could use it, and then these slide like so. All right? Now there's a special tile type out here that is wild, which is these Sfynxes. There's 1, 2, 3 of them. And they can take the place of any one symbol in a line. So you can do it once per card. Unless the card has that symbol there, which says no wilds may be used for that card, all right? Unless, of course, you happen to have this special ability here that lets you turn off that restriction for one of your objectives. So if you grab that, I could indeed use a wild to complete it. This continues. These tiles are going to have a couple of different abilities. You've already seen one. The storm ability there, which in this case happens twice, says to take the front card, bury it at the bottom of the pile, and then reveal a new one, shifting these over. And then because, well, we did it twice, I would actually do that again. So you're going to be cycling things to go to the bottom of the pile. As soon as this pile is gone and all 3 cards left in it are face up, then you'll flip this over, and from that point on, the storm simply turns off some of these. So that is your clock. This is your clock right here. You are trying to complete all 9 cards. If you succeed before you are out of time, you win the game. There's plenty of things I liked about the game, but I'm going to start with a couple of negatives I have, okay? And they have mainly to do with the look of the game. I enjoy what you're doing in the game, but I think the game gets in its way just a little bit. For one thing, the theme is a little bland, and I think those tiles that you're manipulating could have been a little more distinct. They have little bits of blue, little bits of red or green, but you still have to sort of, expend some mental energy discerning which is which. And I just desire for a more vibrant, more easily obvious flop of tiles out there. For one thing, the 3 Sfynxes, the really important ones, should pop. I should immediately, at any given moment, know where those 3 are. And what they have is a little triangle at the bottom that shows the 3 colors, and it's there, and sure, I can find them, but they should be apparent. I wish the game had been a little more brave with using color, and I think what they defaulted to was making it more obvious if a tile is on or off. And that's good, that's important, but recognizing the tile more quickly would have helped as well, okay? I also think then my other big negative here is that this game lists for up to 4 players, but it's really a 1-player game, and it's okay with 2, but you play with more than that, and you're really playing a third of a game or a fourth of a game, and you're inviting some alpha gaming. This is a very, very easy game to alpha game. Everything is opened. Everything is out there. If I see a better move than you when it's your turn, and it's apparent that I can get to something with fewer moves, I just have to stop myself from telling you. That's going to feel bad to both sides of that equation after a while, and you play with more people, and again, you're opening that up to even more of that. Now, discussion's great, and I think with two, you can manage that, especially two players that are good about that. You can share your turn, but each player having their two tiles and having their own turn is really, it's a mirage. You could have just sat together on the same side of the table and both have had your two tiles and use the same two and use that. Even the cards you win don't go to that player. They go to a communal area. So if you take a card as a special bonus, I could use it on my turn. I definitely don't recommend it for more than two. So think of it as a one-player game that could work for two, and I would ignore more than that. You're going to feel like you barely got a sample taste of the whole thing, all right? Other than that, things I do like. I like that the game is a good puzzle. It presents an interesting puzzle, one that is well put together, one that feels challenging. It does that great thing a lot of these kinds of games do, cooperative games or solo games, in which you feel like it is impossible early on in the game. You go, oh, there's no way. 12 turns to complete all this? I can't possibly do that. And as the game evolves, you find yourself catching up, growing in abilities, just sort of being able to get there. And I like that quite a bit. I love the difficulty settings in this game. They give you a lot of different ways to set up the difficulty. The game scales really nicely in that way. They have it right in here where you can set it up based on the little decks of cards. There's a sort of a little breakdown right here. And you can take 3 cards from deck 1, 3 from deck 2, 3 from deck 3, shuffle that up. That's introductory level. But those decks go up to 5. So if you take from deck 5, 4, and 2, let's say, that's really hard. Those are very challenging. And it's still 9 cards, but they're very challenging. A grouping of 9. So I love that. And even that system leaves you open-ended for even more difficulty settings that you can come up with yourself. The point being, you can make this game as easy or as difficult as you want it to be. And I love that. You can find exactly where you fit and how difficult or challenging, I should say, you want it to be. Love it. I love the rewards for completion of goals along the way. This game could have easily been, you have 12 turns to complete 9 cards, and after you complete a card, then you reveal a new one. That's all you get. You need to do all 9, but that would feel like that would lack reward, that would lack interest. I would not get any sort of jolt of electricity after completing one of those. I would go, okay, well, I'm slightly closer, but that's it. Instead, the game gives you a reward when you complete one of them, which is really interesting. You get that card. It's a one-time thing. You could even chain it into something else you're attempting to do. It's very puzzly, and it rewards you for the little micro completions along the way to the big goal. That is very well done. I like that quite a bit. And the last thing I really enjoyed, and it's a minor thing, but it's one that I'm thankful for and I appreciated, was that when you're completing the patterns, they can only be right to left or top to bottom. I'm so thankful for that, because these kinds of games are exactly the ones that would, a lesser game, I'm going to say, would have it be right to left or left to right, top to bottom or bottom to right, or diagonal this way or this way. And that's just too much. I need to be able to discern what's going on and formulate a plan. If you give me so many possible patterns, I'm just going to lock up. There's not going to be a path that I can pick. I'm going to just sort of see all these and, start seeing stars. So I like that. Right to left, bottom, top to bottom. Those are the only 2 ways you can do it. Fantastic. I really appreciate that. I like the difficulty of the game fighting against me ramps up as well the later on you go. So that's also really cool. So there you go. Now, the game is also of an ilk and a type that doesn't really speak to me very much. These sort of move stuff around like a slide puzzle and make a pattern kind of games are a little flat. They're sort of, generally a little less than captivating. I find them to be, I wouldn't say pedestrian, but they're sort of like, oh, you swap these things and then swap these things, and hey, look at that, you made a concoction, you made a pattern. You score that pattern. Okay, I've seen that a lot, so I find it kind of boring. Having said that, I think this is one of the better examples of that thing, of implementing that sort of move stuff around, slide it around, and come up with a puzzle. This one's going to get a 7.5 from me, especially for a solo player or for two. I think this is a nice game. It works well. It's got a few negatives, like I explained. It comes in a weird size. It's this very flat, very big box. It's not a very tiny, portable solitaire game, but what it does well. I don't have any big issues with it. All the complaints I had were fairly small. The reason I'm not giving it a higher score is simply because, well, it's not blowing my socks off either. I'm finding it fun and engaging and mentally stimulating, but not revelatory or exciting necessarily. Still, a 7.5 is a recommend, folks, especially if you do enjoy slide puzzles or just really finding patterns or manipulating patterns. If that is your jam, you are very much going to enjoy Sfynx. So this is one you want to keep an eye out for. Impatience as a company have really picked something specific. They have a niche, and they are nailing that niche. They know what they are doing. This is yet another one in their catalog that does that thing very, very well. So give this one a look, folks. That is a 7.5 from me. That is a seal of approval for Sfynx. And thank you very much for tuning in and watching with me. My name is Z Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. And you can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.